On this episode of RWDO, we'll be examining how to identify and manage toxicity within an organization. And we will start by looking at what exactly toxicity means. Toxicity, of course, means the exhibition of attitude or behavior by employees within an organization in such ways that negatively impact upon other employees with respect to demotivating them and also reducing their productivity. So how do you identify these signs of toxicity within an organization? And having identified them, how do you manage toxicity within the organization? So let's look at how to identify toxicity within an organization. The first sign, or one of the major signs of toxicity within an organization, of course, is the exhibition of favoritism, where an organization shows favoritism, or people within organizations show favoritism of one against others, or of some against the others. It is a sign of toxicity. And another sign will be discrimination, when people are being discriminated, not because they are not very productive, not because they are not hardworking, not because they are not doing what they ought to do, but just simply because some persons are discriminating against them based on maybe religion or maybe tribe or one thing or the other. So if there are issues that have to do with discrimination, these are signs of toxicity within the organization. Of course, another sign is harassment. When there is harassment within the organization, whatever kind of harassment it may be, it could be verbal harassment, it could be sexual harassment, whatever kind of harassment it is that exists within an organization is a sign of toxicity. Another, of course, would be bullying. Bullying within an organization is a sign of toxicity. Then, of course, when you have a situation of willful breaking of rules, where employees break rules without let, and they do it all the time, they do it willfully, it's a sign of toxicity within the organization. Another sign, of course, of toxicity within the organization is when you have miscommunication, when management is not communicating appropriately or not communicating timely. Then you will have encouragement of rumor mongering within such organization. These are early signs that indicate that there is toxicity within that organization. And when toxicity has already been detected within an organization, the next thing, of course, will be how do you manage it? One of the major things to do, of course, in managing toxicity, we'll be sharing 8 things that you can do in managing toxicity. The first one, of course, will be to detect the signs. When you have detected the signs, which we have already talked about, then having detected it, which is the first one, then the second thing will be for us to quickly address it. If you allow toxicity to linger, then you are allowing it to festoon within that organization. You are allowing the thing to gradually turn to a culture within the organization. So you have to address it quickly. Another thing, again, the third thing, is that you have to provide the mechanism for staff feedback. Encourage open discussion. Let there be open communication. Let staff be able to report things or say things as they see it. If there is any bullying, if there is any harassment, let them be able to safely say that this is what has happened, or this is what is happening. Or even if there is maybe any issue of discrimination or favoritism, let staff be able to talk. Let them be able to say, this is what we have noticed, and let it be without repercussion to those that are reporting it. Then, of course, the fourth thing that will be encouraged there is make policies that will identify and penalize any kind of toxicity. Let there be policies within the organization that will specifically state that this is toxic behavior. These are toxic attitude. These are things that are not permissible within this organization. The moment you have been able to set a policy in place that will be able to show that this is toxicity, and then be able to show that these are the penalties for it, you have been able to set in place things that will discourage toxicity. Another thing, of course, that can be done is training of staff. When staff are trained within the organization, it helps for them to see what toxicity is within the organization. Of course, they will be trained on the policies of the organization that talk against toxicity, and that will state clearly what the penalties of toxicity will be. Then, of course, it's necessary for staff to also be trained on conflict resolution and other things like emotional intelligence within an organization, and of course, issues that have to do with effective communication within an organization. All of these are trainings that we can help you deploy to your organization so that your staff can learn about these things, so that the level of toxicity within the organization can reduce significantly or be eliminated in its entirety. Then the sixth thing will be to punish persistent toxic behavior. When people have been trained, they have there's already a policy that identifies what toxicity is, and people have been trained on what these policies are and the consequences. If some of the staff still persist in their toxic behavior, then there should be consequence management. There should be punishment for persistent toxic behavior. So it should not be tolerated. The seventh thing, of course, would be to encourage team building. It's been noted that organizations that encourage team building, they, to a large extent, eliminate or reduce significantly the issue of toxicity within the organization. And the eighth is encourage work-life balance. Work-life balance, of course, would make the employees know that you care about them. It's not all about your work. You also care about their own lives. You want them to, express their human persons. You want them to have a life outside of work. You want them to live balanced human lives. And when an organization cares so much about the employees in such ways that it encourages work-life balance, the level of toxicity within that organization is definitely going to reduce, if not eliminated in its entirety. And that's it until we come your way. Thank you.